I had my notes wrong here. Right over here.
I think I have a presentation as well.
Yeah, they have a presentation afterwards.
Pledge. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, quickly, we'll ask for adoption of the agenda.
Move that we adopt the agenda. I'm sorry.
Call the roll, please.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all. Now, next item is presentation by the fourth grade students from Plumas Avenue Elementary School. Kids, welcome. That's fine. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Would you like them to turn and present to you or turn it?
They'd be better with the camera that way, looking that way, so. There you go.
There you go.
My name is Christian, and I'm a fourth grader in Mrs. McLean's class at Plumas Avenue Elementary School. I'm here with my other friends and classmates so we can show you and tell you all about a special project we recently completed. We published a book called I Am. We would like to pass around a couple of copies of our book to show you our work while we explain this process.
Publishing a book takes a lot of time, effort, and patience. Our first step in creating this book was to brainstorm ideas about our poems and self-portraits. Once we collected our thoughts and ideas, we created rough drafts. The next step was to edit our work. After we looked over the drafts, we had our table groups help us edit our work. Miss McLean and Miss Fulmer also helped us polish our thoughts and ideas.
When it was time to complete our final drafts, the company sent special paper for us to use because we were handwriting the final drafts. We used a pencil to softly write the poems, then used a thin Sharpie to write over those words. We wrote very carefully and slowly so that we could have our best handwritings in the books. We also liked using bright colors for our pictures. When each student completed their poem and picture, we put everything in a box and sent it to the Student Treasures Company. It took almost a month, but when we returned from spring break, the books were ready for us to take home.
It is fun for us. It is fun and exciting to use our hard work and efforts in a book that we get to keep. Many of our friends and family enjoy reading the books and have ordered additional copies. We hope you have enjoyed seeing our work too. Thank you for letting us tell you about the process of publishing a book.
Well done. Thank you very much. And we'll get all the kids' names. We'll make sure to get nice recognition certificates for your participation tonight. Thank you very much. Ready?
Excellent job. Good job.
Yeah, very good job. Next item is public communication hearing of non-agenda items. Anyone have a non-agenda item? Do we have cards?
Yes, I do, sir. We have 2 submitted speaker cards for this item. We'll begin with Janice White, follow that with the cameraman.
Hello again.
Welcome, Janice.
Hello. I've been here before. My name's Janice White, and I represent Oroville Bocce. I wanted to give you an update. We have our nonprofit, our 501c3, and it's up and running. and let you know that this Friday, Table Mountain Golf Course is going to do a fundraiser for us. We've got quite a few teams, and it's going to be pretty exciting. And my friend Ron Whaler and I collected over 40 raffle prizes by ourselves. We have 6 members.
Good job.
We were the only 2 that got anything. Anyway, and and I've done this before with Quota. I belong to Quota of Gridley, so I've been used to doing this kind of thing over the years, the last 14 years. So we're pretty excited about it, but this is, of course, for we're asking for the material, funds for the material for two 12 by 80 foot length bocce courts out at Table Mountain Golf Course. Everyone actually out at the golf course now is very excited, but it's going to be a hard struggle. So I'm coming before the council to ask to see if there's any possible way that they could help us with some of the funds to get this together. Let's see. I was with all the young children here. Bocce is actually being opened up even in Chico. They're doing a lot of things at Chico Bocce, and I follow that a lot. And I belong to Chico Bocce over the years also. But they're opening it up to youth. And it's not, everyone thinks it's for the older people like myself, but it's not. And it's right up there actually, believe it or not, with pickleball. So it's good exercise. There's a lot of strategy to it actually. But anyway, the cost of the material that we've figured is, and we've submitted plans and the cost before, around $22,500. So we're working on getting that done as much as we can, but anything that possibly the city of Oroville could help us with would be most appreciated.
Thank you. Councilman Weber has a comment?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Do you have a flyer for your fundraiser?
Of course. It was kind of a temporary one. It doesn't have the logo that we're using, but this was with the golf course. In fact, I have one for everybody if you individually
Bring them on up.
want one.
Leave them out
Okay,
there.
let
All right.
me pull them out.
All right,
I'm
thank
sure
you.
I have enough.
And then also, take one of my cards and then send me a copy of the digital flyer as well. Do you have a digital flyer? A digital flyer so we can put it on our social media?
Oh, well, I can text it. Is that what you
Okay.
meant?
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And how many do I need? Let's see. You know what I should do is on one, I need to write my name if you've got any questions.
Okay.
Because the only thing this shows, and I had a pen. What did I do with it? Here it is.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll write it quick so you can get on with your other business.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue. Question?
I just wanted to congratulate you on your stick-to-itiveness. You
Yes.
came to me months ago.
Yes.
And, here you are. So getting the
Yeah.
501c3 off the ground and negotiating with Table Mountain, I think those are all positive
Well,
steps.
thank you. I get goosebumps when I
So
think
you're-
about it.
You're gonna
And
see it
actually,
happen.
the slogan that I was thinking one night just out of the blue, and it's so true, because like I told you before, I have a passion for it. And the slogan I came up with was just, bocce is for all ages and the young at heart. And it truly is.
Thank you. Oh, Councilman Johnston.
I was just wondering. You've reached out to any community businesses or anything to see if they would help sponsor the bocce ball court?
Well, we've reached out we've reached out through the golf tournament. I haven't, some of the downtown businesses, unfortunately, have not been in a position, I guess, that they can, that they've been able to help at this time.
Okay.
And it's kind of a rough time for everybody, so we're thrilled that we got the donations and the support, and everyone out at the golf course is
Right.
very excited for us. So,
Thank you, Ms. White.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Was the cameraman next?
Yes.
Come on up.
Okay.
Good evening, Oroville City Council. Going to take two matters priority, and I got quite a few, but first I want to make sure to give a big shout out to Pee Wee for the airport day this past
sure.
Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It was a great turnout. I think that also because of the weather. I don't believe this time last year we were in still double-digit temperatures, so I think that played a factor, but it was a great turnout nonetheless. Hope to, we have more turnout like that in the future. Wonderful event, had a great time, took 96 photographs. So not as many as Pee Wee did, I see, but still quite a bit. The next matter I'm going to talk about is Empire Steel recycling place over off of Lincoln, kind of in that back little industrial area. They recently closed down due to just persistent homeless encampments and theft from their yard. Great place. They had a nice little system down pat. I kind of pre-sort ahead time, so I'm like in and out, but disappointing to see. So maybe Oroville PD can step up patrols around the recycling areas where, believe it or not, scrap, one man's trash is another person's treasure in more than one ways, apparently. So maybe just, little checks around those areas at night could be helpful. And finally, this evening, you may or may not have heard that last Friday, former Sergeant Sanzone of Oroville PD basically got a slap on the wrist in Glenn County. For those who are not aware, he stole some money from a homeless person in his official capacity as a police officer, or I should say deputy sheriff at his time at Glenn County. Basically tried to blame it on the MLE, but evidently, according to the district attorney's office, he went as so far as to interfere with it in, evidence. So basically, he just paid the money back and he surrendered his peace officer status, so he can no longer be an officer in the state of California. Whether or not he can go to another state and become an officer, I'm not sure on that. But he can't be a cop anymore in California, basically. I am rather disappointed because, this is someone who had the authority of the badge and abused it, and not to see some moniker of jail time or even probation is disappointing. And especially as someone who has suffered a similar prosecution with a misuse of food stamps over $98.73, I offered to repay that back, and I get told either do 60 days in jail or take our 1 year of probation officer. I went to trial, and the Honorable Judge Rodriguez sentenced me to fines and fees and, of course, the money to be repaid. But I think it's kind of shocking when someone in a position of authority deliberately stole money, because if he didn't, why pay it back if you're not guilty, right? Not just a couple $100, but well over $1,000, and just slap on the wrist, surrender your piece.
Thank you. Up next, we have Bill Spear.
Oh, Mr. Spear, welcome. Come on up.
Is Mark 12:10. Haven't you read this passage of Scripture? The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. It's a really awesome scripture written a couple thousand years ago. If you think about it, it's true. The chief cornerstone of the church, the chief cornerstone of our nation. We are a Christian nation built on the foundations of Christ. And so with our city, I believe the same thing, that he is the chief cornerstone, that he's going to get us through this next season. He's going to continue to give us supernatural provision, supernatural grace, that he's going to raise our city up to be a light on a shelf, a city on a hill. And so I'd like to pray over you all. I want to thank you all for your years of faithfulness to our city, laying down your time and energy and effort and assets to make our city better. Father, we are so grateful that we do have a chief cornerstone, a builder, a master builder. That you, in my life, Lord, that I had rejected you, and then I came to you, and you began to repair and heal and make whole and use me, God. And I just pray that you would continue, Lord, to bless our city. Continue to bless, to wake the church up. It says, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. So we thank you for the victory that we have in our chief cornerstone. We thank you for the truth of your word and the power of your word. And we are not growing weary in doing good. We continue to come to meeting after meeting after meeting. And sometimes it don't seem like we're making much headway, but as we look back and we see what you have done, and we pray that you would continue to bring supernatural provision to our city, supernatural wisdom as we deal with all the issues and the efforts, that you would do things in our city way above our ability, way above our resources, for your kingdom and for your glory, that other cities would see what's going on here and come to see what's different here. And we pray that they would see in the supernatural that it's because of the chief cornerstone that raised our nation up from the very beginnings. As we look back to the old past, as we stand at the crossroads and look, and we seek you. You are the answer. We love you. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Was that the last card?
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. I'm going to move the item number 1 in consent calendar, which was the recognition of Sharon Lundberg, up to right now. If we'll have this item, it's a resolution recognizing Sharon Lundberg upon her retirement.
Motion.
Yeah, we're going to ask Councilman Johnson.
Can we get a motion on it?
Yeah. Let's get a motion on that from the council. Entertain a motion for a resolution 9378.
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
Call roll.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Well, then Councilman Goodson has the resolution. He's going to read it real quick. Yeah. Why don't you go down here in front, and then I think Ruth has one too. Or something else. Is Ruth here?
It's not working. Do you mind using?
I think I have a loud enough voice. Can everyone hear me?
But online, need the mic for online.
There you go.
All right. City of Oroville Resolution Number 9378. This is a resolution of the City of Oroville recognizing Sharon Lindberg, accounting analyst, on the occasion of her retirement from city service. Whereas Sharon Lindberg has faithfully and diligently served the City of Oroville in the capacity of accounting analyst, exemplifying professionalism, dedication, and integrity throughout her whole career. And whereas Sharon Lindberg began her first tenure with the City of Oroville on August 23rd, 1976, and honorably has served over 12 years of commendable public service during that period. And whereas after a notable career outside of the city, Sharon returned on April 2nd, 2012, resuming her role with commitment and bringing with her a wealth of knowledge and experience. And whereas her second tenure with the city will culminate on June 6, 2025, marking an additional 13 years of dedicated service and bringing her total years of service to the community and to our city to 25 years. And whereas Sharon Lindberg has consistently demonstrated a strong work ethic, attention to detail, and a collaborative spirit that has made her an invaluable member of the city's finance department and a trusted colleague to many, and a friend to so many city council members. Whereas Sharon's retirement marks the conclusion of a remarkable, outstanding career in municipal service, and her presence, your expertise, and your kindness will be greatly missed by coworkers and community members alike. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Oroville does hereby recognize and extend its deepest heartfelt appreciation to you, Sharon Lindberg, for your 25 years of exemplary service and dedication to the city. And we wish you a happy, a healthy, and very fulfilling retirement. Passed and adopted this 20th day of May, 2025, by the City Council of the City of Oroville, with its seal and signed by Mayor Pittman.
Thought you were out of here. We got this award for you for your 25 years of service. I have to tell you, we had a big conversation because she was 16 days shy of 26. So we were going to make it 26 years, but this was already purchased. So, so we could say 26 if we want. But we got this little award. It says, "Thank you for your hard work and dedication to the city, and so your adventure begins."
Very good.
Speech.
I liked it so much the first time. I came back for a second time. No, it's been really great, and I really appreciate all the people I have worked with. All the leadership. It's been some awesome people. I've learned a lot and grew a lot. It's been an amazing place to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Well deserved. Next item is council announcements, reports, administration reports. Council announcements. Looking up and down the line here. Councilman Johnstone.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to, there, am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, again, what the cameraman said about the flying at the airport. Our total count for attendance was over 2,300 people attended it, with the car show, the food vendors, and just all the vendors that came out, along with all the different airplanes. Cal Fire had their helicopter out there. It was just a fun day. It was not hot. Last year it was so hot that it was extremely uncomfortable. This year was just a beautiful windy day, and so I'm excited. Anything that we can do to build up our airport and make it known to the community is something that's close to my heart. So it was a great day, and I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just want to thank all of the support that we had for the Feather Fiesta Days. Just a great day. Backed by popular demand, which was Mother's Day weekend. So that's a win, right? I do believe it's a win for the community, and it did not rain. So anyway, thanks to all of you, and thanks to all our vendors and the businesses that really make it all possible. Thank you.
Councilman Goodson.
Yes, I had the opportunity. Who's next?
Oh, Smith. Oh, no, he
No,
just did.
it is me.
Oh, Thompson. Where-
Thompson.
How'd you get in there?
I was there.
Oh, I didn't see it. Thompson, excuse me.
It's fine. I can go after Smith.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to report, we are starting something new. Last week, we had our first inaugural meeting. North State Leadership Coalition is currently what we're calling it, but it's a coalition of city leaders, county leaders, elected school boards from Rockland all the way to the Oregon border. It's interesting because, part of the idea is this is, we all live in the state of California, and the North State is really kind of unique. We all face the same unfunded mandates from Sacramento and some of the ideologies that interfere with our lives. And so each city has to deal with these issues, or typically right now deals with these issues in silos. But instead of having to come up with the ideas alone, whether it's deal with the homeless or paving or different issues, instead of having to each city come up with their own ideas, we are going to start, it's just kind of common sense, actually talking to each other, different cities, collaborating, networking, sharing resources, and unifying as a group to unilaterally be more productive in benefiting our citizens. So our last, like I said, our first meeting was the 13th, and the next we're going to have is in November, and it's going to be great. So,
Thank you. Councilman Goodson.
Yes, I just want to give a shout out to the Exchange Club for giving me the opportunity to be one of the judges for the chili cook-off. Man. Whew. It was so good. I called my husband. I said, "You park over here, and you get some of this," because I didn't tell him why. But congratulations to the Chiefs. You pulled it out. It was magnificent. And the best part about it is that I did not have to go home and fix dinner.
Oh, okay.
So, thank you.
No, Councilman, have any more? Can we move to administration reports? Maybe brief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple quick things. The Army Corps of Engineers was here. We had a team here about short of 2 weeks ago, but they super helpful group of very, very smart engineers did a walk of the levee and did a lot of analysis and assessment of what we have out there, and they're going to be reporting back to us, I believe, in 45 to 60 days on what their findings are. So, but overall, their findings were very, I think, positive in general. So that was good. I think people are seeing there's the DWR is pushing out information on some information at the lake. There's some new restrictions on getting your boats in and out of the lake. So I know the Chamber of Commerce has a really good summary of that information on their website. So I encourage folks, if you're going to be going to the lake, to make sure you take a look at that. State budget, the May revise came out last week, and interesting. I think there's a lot of still concerns out there and uncertainty as far as how the impacts at the federal level are going to impact the state level, specifically with regards to Medi-Cal. So right now, I think it's a $12 billion shortfall, $12 billion, and it could change. So that's still a work in progress. And we continue to try to get FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, to issue a new license at the just up the hill here, and we had some responses back from them in recent times, and they did submit a report. The environmental folks submitted a report, so within 60 days we're going to be hearing something. Now, what that is, don't know, but I'll report back when we hear what their determination is. That's all I have.
All right. Any other department heads, real quick? Oh, Alyssa, go ahead.
Sure. Just real quick, you've been seeing a lot of PG&E work around, definitely keeping our sewer guys busy. We're trying to follow up with the locations that PG&E's been working, just because there have been a number of laterals and things getting hit, and we're just trying to make sure that all the lines stay clean. I wanted to make sure you knew that. Also, weed abatement is well underway at basically, Public Works, every department of Public Works. Currently clearing a lot of the alleyways we have with various manholes, so hopefully folks are patient while we do those treatments. You'll be seeing that solar lighting go up here, hopefully within the next week, out at the county center, or the county building, the clerk recorder building at corner of Nelson and Second, so there should be some new street lights going in. Unfortunately, someone around Feather Fiesta Days did hit the Corp Yard gate, so we're dealing with that as well. And hopefully we might be able to get a camera out at that location, because I don't think that's the first time it's happened. We hired a new mechanic on the 13th of this month, and he's doing great. And our airport guy, Cody, has been working closely with CAL FIRE on a potential prescribed burnout at the airport, hopefully coming up in early June. And then also, there is an event coming up May 24th, this Saturday, at the Chinese Temple to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and that will be from 10 to 2.
Thank you. Anyone else? Patrick, Jared? Oh, excuse me, Councilman Goodson.
Yes, you're probably the one that would know. Something about this on Oro Dam, there's a new stoplight that's being put up. Looks like it's in the final stage. The crosswalk light works, and I was just wondering if you had an activation date?
It's up and running.
Is
It's
it
been
up
up
and
and
running?
running. Yep,
Is it-
yes. It's, if you're talking about at the intersection of Orodam and Spencer.
Yeah.
It is up and running.
Stop and go traffic?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
It is working.
bravo. Thank
It is
you.
working. Chief?
Yeah, Alyssa mentioned it a little bit for me, but I just want to go into a little bit more detail. We do plan on burning the airport out there, and I just wanted to notify you of that. Also, we've made notification to Cody, as Alyssa mentioned, but we're shooting for close to about 160, maybe 180. I want to try to push it to 200 acres, and that's part of that CWPP plan, and that's will provide training to the Oroville firefighters, CAL FIRE firefighters in Butte County, and also remove some hazardous fuels out there, and hopefully we won't have to use it for an air base this summer, but if we do that, we'll help with that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Johnstone has a question.
Real quick question, Chief. And I'm not sure how this works with the county, but out in the airport areas, there's some city areas and then there's some county areas. Do you collaborate with the county as far as weed abatement, like around the housing areas that are within the city limits?
Kind of, but it's really two different programs accomplishing the same thing.
Okay.
But we do, and there'll also be some burning around the airport around that same time we're burning.
That's in county versus the city limits?
Yep,
Okay.
It'll kind of surround it, Rabe Road, I believe, along Wilbur Road and some of those areas right around the airport. And we'll try to incorporate it all that so there's not too much of an impact to the community.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Looking around the room? Okay, we're good to go. Then we're going to move on to the consent agenda, or consent calendar. Any councilman have any questions on consent?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Second. And we'll just note that item number 1 was pulled off the
Exempt
consent.
item 1,
Right.
which has already been voted on.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Yep.
Call the roll, please.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next item is number 4, new banking partnership. Ruth, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Pittman and council members. I am excited to tell you our RFP process is complete for our banking services. I've mentioned to you a few times during the meetings that we were going through this process, and we are finished. We had actually had a great time doing it, and the most fun part was going out and visiting the banks. So I am happy to tell you that we selected Golden Valley Bank, and they're here tonight to be introduced to you. And we just want to say that we know they're going to take really good care of us. Their customer service was actually very overwhelming to us. So we're very excited to get started.
Yep.
And they're here tonight, so I'm going to introduce them.
Ruth, let me have you pause for just a minute. In order for someone to recuse themselves, they need to put on the record why.
Okay.
I am recusing myself because my wife works for the bank.
Okay. Thank you. So noted.
Hold on a second.
Welcome, ladies.
Do you want to introduce
Oh, a gentleman. I couldn't see you. You're in the background.
This is our new bank.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mark Francis. I'm the president and CEO of Golden Valley Bank. Right now, the only locally owned community bank in Butte County. And we are very honored that we've been selected, after you vote on that, to be the bank for Oroville. And I know that will do a fantastic job. And our local manager is Crystal. And our chief banking officer is Lori Key. And she's an Oroville resident. You
Yeah.
probably recognize her.
Yeah.
And then our CFO is Barbara Kraus, also an Oroville resident.
Welcome, Barbara.
I recognize her too. Yes, and the mother.
is Alyssa.
Well, that's more important. Here we go.
Exactly. And then finally, Krista Thompson's our relationship banking officer. at
Scott's
Oroville.
wife.
Yep, she's a reason for Scott. Yeah, abstaining. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We also want to thank the Finance Department for being so thorough investigating the opportunities.
you
And
did.
certainly, it made it fair for everyone out there, and it obviously looks like you made a good selection, so, or recommendation, I should say.
Thank you so much.
Any questions from council?
We do have one comment card on this
Oh,
item,
yes,
Mr. Mayor.
please.
Yes, we have one from the cameraman.
Cameraman, welcome.
Good evening again, Oroville City Council. After hearing the introduction, thought I was going to have some questions, but I really don't. Just welcome to our city, and, we look forward to having you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the only one card? All right. Any other questions from the public? We don't have any more comments, so let's,
I move that we approve. Are you looking for a motion?
I am.
All right. I move that we approve Golden Valley Bank as the city's new banking partner.
Can you mention the recommendation to authorize the transfers?
And authorize
I want
the
all-
finance director,
I won't
Bruce,
just do them. I will run them all through
to make
Brian,
any
but-
necessary fund transfers effective immediately to Golden Valley Bank.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The motion and second, please call the roll.
Motion passes with 6 yeses and 1 recusal.
You are all welcome to stay, but you can also leave if you like. All right, thank you. Item number 5, contract amendment with Ghirardelli Associates Incorporated.
Yep, that's mine.
Wanna, oh. Okay, there's a. Oh, we forgot about Scott. Wonder where he's going.
Okay.
Who's got number 5?
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Alyssa?
me.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, so I just wanted to say that the State Route 162 project is officially complete. It was a project a long time in the making. I want to say it probably started in 2015, 2016 timeframe, and we have seen it through to its completion. Back in March of 2023, there was Ghirardelli Associates was hired to be the construction management company to oversee the construction of that project in an amount of $913,000 roughly. They are a little bit short, so they have requested an additional $80,000, which is about 8.7% of the overall contract. It does come in under a 10% contingency. But that is primarily due to just the contract being extended. So the work there were just a number of changes. So It was originally bid at 186 days for construction, but the project went more than 258 days. So just as far as longevity of the project, it did exceed the original estimate. And then there was also the cost estimate was based on 2 intersections of night work versus the entire project. The entire project ended up needing to be completed at night, which does increase costs to have an inspector performing night work. And there were 61 RFIs leading to several very large design changes, which was the primary cause for delay, that and weather. So I just wanted to present this. I don't know if anyone from Ghirardelli was able to make it on the line. If you have questions.
Councilman Goodson's in the queue.
Yes, I just have a quick question. Maybe Ruth can answer that. What is the balance in the capital improvement projects fund? Ballpark it.
I can't answer that at this moment. I am deep into budgeting. I'm into the general fund, but that fund is next.
Brian?
We'll get you that figure, though.
Yeah, definitely enough to cover this.
Okay.
Right. All right, thank you.
Do we have any cards on this item?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor. We do have one card on this item, Marcia Henderson.
Okay. All right, we'll call you later. Councilman Johnstone's in the queue.
Just real quick, can you?
It's a request for information, so generally it's a question that comes in from the contractor on how the plans were drawn up, if there's maybe something that's come in that wasn't originally shown on the plans, or maybe there was an error in the plans. So that's just what they're called, as RFIs. It's just it's a request for information.
Okay.
But they can lead to change orders. And there were, I believe, 7 change orders, large change orders on this project.
And that's typical for projects like this? Okay, thank you.
Do we have someone online?
We have Moji.
Council members, this is Moji Narvar, the resident engineer and project manager for Ghirardelli Associates. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from council? Seeing none, I entertain a motion.
Thank you, sir.
I move that we execute a contract amendment for Ghirardelli Associates for construction management, and let's see, the figure was 80,000.
80,000.
Yep.
80,000. Approve that amended amount.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next item, we have the item number 6, public input on the scope of work for the Gateway project. Do we have any cards?
Yes, sir. We do have many cards on this item.
All
Would you
right.
like me to call them first?
I think so. I don't think the council was looking for public input, so I would just ask all of you that want to input that we're certainly looking forward to that. Would you kind of keep it to the scope of the project and what you see as to what you'd like to see for the project? Because it's been some time since we first envisioned it, and now is a good time to hear what we need to have, either new ideas or other changes in the scope. First one.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I did want to just announce into the record, we did have one written comment submitted to us after the 2 p.m. deadline that was given to me here physically in person today. I will go ahead and upload that to the public comment packet
Right.
afterwards.
And also, if others want to send an email to us, we will upload it to the packet later on too, within the next day, so we get all the information. Just because you're not here, we certainly would appreciate your comments.
Okay, with that being said, we will start with the in-person comments. We'll begin with Natalie Sheard and follow it with John Zillich.
Welcome, Natalie.
Looking for our input. I can tell you that the residents want a stellar Gateway project that entices travelers off the 70, celebrates the waterfront, and connects the river to our historic downtown with a design that's complementary to the uniqueness of Oroville. It's a tough ask. Gateway projects are very different than regular commercial developments. Gateway projects are entry points to a destination. This gateway is the entry to the river, our historic downtown, and our recreational areas. Proper gateway projects require the developer to spend a lot of money on creating the right design and theme for the desired destination. Money needs to be spent creating architectural details, open spaces, and appropriate works of art. The fact that these parcels were sold for $1 to Mr. Mendez does not mean that he can develop it like any other commercial lot. The sale price of $1 comes with the contract that contractually binds the developer to create a gateway entrance to the heart of Oroville. The contract he signed in 2022 states that immediately after the close of escrow, he will begin work on the architectural conceptual design. At the Planning Commission, I have not seen anything from this developer with a thematic gateway design for the project. The plans I've seen at the Planning Commission showed a regular commercial development that instead of highlighting the river, had parking along the river and fast food restaurants. The contract also requires that the developer attend quarterly meetings with the city to show his progress as he progresses through the phases of the project. None of that has happened. I'm also concerned with the quality of the other properties that Mr. Mendez currently owns. For example, he owns the 9 lots right behind us at the old Ford dealership. This property is neglected, and as a neighbor, I know that it often houses and hides drug dealers and homeless camp there. I have personally seen more human manure there than I have seen anywhere else in Oroville. This kills me. This is not the care of a developer that demonstrates a vision or an appreciation for our downtown. I know we're in a tough spot, but I'm asking you to please not let this development be cast aside and compromised and just become a regular commercial development. Allow it to become the gateway that the residents deserve, that is the entrance to the heart of Oroville. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, we have John Zilich, followed by Sarah Nolan.
Welcome, John.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for allowing the city to come before you and actually tell you what's on our hearts and minds concerning this. We definitely appreciate the forum. With that being said, whatever we decide or whatever we agree to that needs to go out there needs to not be 20th century, it needs to be 21st century. Many people in Oroville that I spoke with, everybody for the most part understands that we can't just start running in this town, that we need to walk first. But just about everybody is tired of crawling. And through the years, it seems like we've just been crawling. And as we crawl, we start to walk, and then we get patted on the head and we're told to crawl again. And I think there's a lot of frustration within the community that we're told we are the city of gold and that we deserve a certain level that we're supposed to have, something to aspire to. But yet every time we turn around, the aspirations turned into something that you just see down the street, just something regular, something normal. I completely agree with Natalie. Whatever we put here needs to be fantastic. Needs to be something that people will pull off the freeway when they see it. Now, that can come in many different forms. And personally, I will support anything as far as a grand development of some kind. I don't have anything specific. What I do want to say is I greatly appreciate this council's current level of transparency and the administration that you put forward. Only in the last couple of years have I started to really work with the current council and the staff and such, because before that I had a lot of reservations about what went on behind the scenes and such. This current council, I appreciate you, and the people of Oroville want to stand behind you, but they want the transparency. They want to see the accountability. They want to see their thoughts and actions, not just get told, hey, that's a great idea, and then it just gets brushed off again. You know, and this, I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about past. I'm talking about history. But there's a reason why the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror. We need to look forward. And by looking forward, I mean whatever we do decide to build, whatever the developer decides to put there, whether it's Mark, whether it's somebody else, whoever it is, it needs to be something of a level of what we can imagine, not so much what can just be afforded. It needs to be something great and grand and beyond the scheme of thought. It needs to be something that when you go into Sacramento and you look over and you see some big shiny building, or you see something, you're like, wow, that's really cool. That's a great waterfront. That's awesome. That's amazing. That's what it needs to be. So with that, I just want to make sure you understand that you have a lot of support in the city. And you have gained that support because of the transparency and the accountability that you all have and that you all share. And I would just ask that you just carry that forward and keep the support of everyone. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Up next, we have Sarah Nolan, followed by Brian Wong.
Welcome, Sarah.
Mayor, City Council members, as local entrepreneurs, lifelong residents, and future community leaders, we stand before you tonight as representatives of the next generation. The Council is facing a complex issue that has no easy solution. The decisions made by our current leaders will determine one of two fates for our generation. We will either enjoy the rewards of those decisions or bear the consequence. I urge all city leaders and city staff to strive for excellence on behalf of our community, its residents, and all future developments. The fate of our future is in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Brian Wong, followed by Ricky Gabriel.
Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, City Councilors, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of this development. City leaders of a generation ago envisioned a project that would attract businesses, tourism, and other opportunities to Oroville. And the Gateway project would also provide additional services to local residents, add to our tax base, as well as to improve public services. As stated by the latest project update by Mark and Frank Ross that came in about a month and a half ago, it is not easy to achieve these objectives in the current economic conditions. Also, it is not easy to build a world-class hospital going through COVID. It is also not easy to start a business in the current economic conditions, but we have. So, as we move forward, I would have to say nothing is easy. However, we need a great Gateway project because it is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Up next, we have Ricky Gabriel, followed by Ricky Gabriel III.
Welcome, Ricky.
This on? Okay.
Yep.
I'm completely unprepared. We just saw a video yesterday on Facebook of Sean, and we decided, all these guys right here, we decided to tell you guys what we think we should do with the Gateway project. We would like to have a sports complex. You know, that would be really good for our community. You come into our town, you see a sports complex on the left, you see a park on the right. I think it would, you know, give the kids options because they don't have too many options in this town. It'd restore pride into our community. It'd generate revenue. I don't know if you guys have been to basketball tournaments, but we'll get basketball games at 9 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We got to do something in between. We're buying food, we're swimming, we're doing whatever we can. So that's about it. I just wanted to say I think we need a sports complex. And these
Fair
guys
enough.
are going to come up next.
Thank you.
All right.
Up next, we have
Thank you.
Up next, we have Ricky Gabriel III, followed by Jackson Gabriel.
All right.
Good evening.
Welcome, Ricky.
I'm here to address a critical issue cycle where Orville's youth is lacking resources and is turning to drug taking and dealing, and crime as in stealing cars and causing damage to the community. These aren't bad kids, they're kids without opportunities. Many families face challenges that limit their children's potential. Without guidance or positive outlets, they often see no other choice but destructive behaviors. This hits home because on July 18, 2023, I lost my best friend due to gun violence, and he will forever be 13. Tragically, 2 months before that, on the same day, May 18th, another kid, only 15 years old, God bless his soul, also lost his life due to gun violence. It's a pain that's hard to describe, and that's why this caused me so much to me. I'm advocating for a youth facility to break this cycle. It could offer sports, tutoring, education, and job training, all free or low cost. It could provide a safe environment, academic support, and skills for future careers. This facility isn't just about recreation, it's about lifeline. It's about applying discipline and teamwork, empowering the youth to make positive choices and escape poverty and crime. Support this facility to address the root causes and empower our young people. It's an investment in Orville's future, creating opportunities for physical activity, education, and growth. Together, we can make a difference.
Thank you, sir.
Up next, we have Jackson Gabriel, followed by Aubrey Arizona. Got it. Yep.
Yeah, you can.
Sure.
A little bit.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Welcome, Jackson.
There you go, buddy.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jackson Gabriel. I think having a sports complex would be awesome because a lot of kids could meet other kids and see their abilities. And we wouldn't have to travel as much if we could have tournaments here. They could eat in our town, and that would be good for our restaurants. Thank you for listening to me, and you all have a great evening. And if you don't listen to me, I will just build one with my MBA money when I'm older.
Well done, Jackson. Well done.
Up next, we have Aubrey, followed by Phoenix.
Again, about the sports complex, first I just want to say hi to Miss Tracy. I know her from the Thunderbirds cheer. Anyways, aside from that, I think it'd be good to have a sports complex because it could be a lot of fun for kids and other people too. And it'd be fun for adults to coach them, and I just think it'd be a really good idea.
Thank you, Aubrey.
Up next, we have Phoenix, followed by Tyrone.
Welcome, Phoenix.
Hi, my name is Phoenix Nigel. I am a member of the Beast Club. The reason I would like a sports complex is I play a lot of sports in the city of Orville. It would be cool to see all my teammates, new and old, at one location for the rest of my life. Thank you for all that you do for the youth.
All right, Phoenix, thank you.
Got it.
Oh, John. Yep. You're good.
Well, my name is Tyrone Arizona. I'm glad to see you all, guys. Also, this is also about sports complex. I would think if we had a gym to do our tournaments here instead of traveling to Chico or Sacramento, I think it would be best to have our gym have like a few more gyms in Orville. And also, I have the best coach. His name is Coach Ricky.
Right.
What was the incentive?
Yeah.
Okay. Up next, we have Gunnar Nelson, followed by Jet Li.
My name is Gunnar Nelson. I'm in the 4th grade at Golden Hill School. I play football for the Junior Thunderbirds and basketball for Beast Club in Upward. I think Orville needs a sports facility for all kids to be able to practice and better themselves and be safe. We have to travel to 3 gyms just for practice. Kids need somewhere year-round to enjoy themselves, and I think it would help kids stay healthier.
Thank you, Gunnar.
Up next, we have Jet Li, followed by Audrey Holt.
Jeff?
Hi, good evening. A little unprepared. I was not prepared for a speech. This kind of just brought upon me. But I'm also advocating for the sports complex. I'm the varsity basketball team captain over at Orville High School. And I think, I've played basketball for the last 4 years of my life, starting in 8th grade. And it's just been like such a huge part of my life. But the one thing that I do wish I got involved more in was with AAU and like travel team ball. It's just so hard, because there's not a lot of gyms here that the local AAU teams can run tournaments, and so it's a lot of traveling out to Chico and Sacramento and this and that. Matter of fact, my brother, he's playing for Beast Club. I'm here on his behalf as well. It's hard. I have 7 siblings, six or seven siblings. 6 or 7 siblings, somewhere in there. But it's just hard moving everybody and getting to games because, one day we're going out to Chico, maybe we have a party, a family gathering in Orville, or he has a party in Sac, and we have a party in Sac, and he has a game over in Chico. It's just overall very hard to maintain traveling and bringing him around. And so I think, having a sports complex in here in Orville would be very helpful. And again, not just for basketball, swimming as well. At Orville High School, there isn't like a place, the swimming team, there isn't a place to practice after school. They usually, if I remember correctly, they would go down to under the bridge next to where Bossburger is, and they'd like go down and swim there for a bit for practice. And so, having a swimming area for the sports complex would also be very helpful. As well as, if it became a big thing, it'd put Orville on the map. I know on social media, there's a place called Hardwood Palace over in Roseville, I believe. A lot of people online, social media in the North Cal area. Everybody knows that area because it's a big gym. A lot of teams come there. And it really puts them on the map. And I think, it'd just be great for the community, bring a lot of people and bring attention into Orville. And pretty much
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Up next, we have Audrey Holt, followed by Marsha Henderson.
Welcome, Audrey.
Am I on? Okay.
Yep.
We've heard a lot of great ideas that our town definitely needs every single one of them. But what we have to do is take the lot and the location to the freeway and the river and find the best use for that lot. That doesn't mean we don't need other things. That just means we need to program them to the correct space. So when I first moved here about 11 years ago, I was like, how in the world on the highway and the river is this not already developed? So I immediately started watching. I know we had somebody who defaulted on an agreement, and then we got it back, and then we found someone else. So my 2 cents is that we need to find a developer. It may or may not be local. If we had a corporation or some sort of firm here that could do it locally, that would be great. But we need somebody who understands how to do this sort of project. Somebody who's done this in other towns, maybe not even California, but somewhere with a river and a highway. It's very unique. So we want to bring people off the highway. It's not hard to find. And then past that, we want to bring them into downtown. We don't want to create new facilities when we have empty buildings downtown. We already have the infrastructure built. We already have the buildings. We need to have them occupied. So we need to find a complementary use for the Gateway project. My first thought when I heard that we had money earmarked for some sort of water facility is, wouldn't that be great? You have Riverbend Park, you have Bedrock, you have the skate park. If we could connect them all with recreation. So I had the idea of some sort of, with the river, a water park. I don't know if DWR would allow that, but also there could be specific riverfront activities like dining on the river. And we don't want to have the parking be on the river. We don't want to have the parking be at the street. We want to integrate the parking. So again, none of this is cookie cutter. None of this is something someone locally may have the ability to do as far as the project needs its best attention. So my 2 cents is to be sure you have the right person there, and if that means what we have to do to get that back under control, or if maybe the current owner is willing to work with somebody else to get the bigger scope. Because yes, I know that property owner owns some other properties that aren't currently being utilized. So we want to get that going. We are doing great things with Hewitt Park. We're doing great things coming up with Bedrock. We're going to try to do some rental facilities and then float the river, and we can bring tourists in and they can see right off the highway, hey, look what they have to offer. We want to go farther. So it's a great opportunity, and I'm excited to see that we're finally talking about it and getting it going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Marcia Henderson, followed by Bill
Mr. Mayor,
Spear.
if I may, before those kids leave, real quick, if I
Yeah.
may, please forgive me for
Yeah.
interrupting. Hey, children? Hey, before you guys leave, I wanted to commend you. Come here.
Come here.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. That's a good idea.
Hey, you guys, we just want to commend you. Thank you so much for participating as future leaders in our community and letting us know your concerns and your needs and even desires to see what you would like developed there. We want to commend you. We want to give you a clap because you guys did a great job. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys.
Good job, kids.
Good job. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Up next, we have Marcia Henderson, followed by Bill Spear.
Welcome, Marcia.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you so much for reaching out to the community. I don't have a planned speech. I was driving from Yuba City this evening, or this afternoon, and I observed what I saw as I was coming into town, coming down Highway 70. And I've lived here, I grew up here, I still live here, but I've worked in Yuba City for years, and most often what I heard from people was that they thought Oroville was about Oro Dam Boulevard, and that was our community. And so I counted the number of exits. We have 3 exits mainly into town, and so we have 3 opportunities to get people off the freeway. I agree with Audrey, Natalie, John, and everybody that had great ideas, but we have to make it something that's going to attract people off the highway and into our community. Something that makes people look at to the right. They can see to the left, they see we have a great park, but they don't really see anything to the right immediately other than an empty lot. They see a gas station, they see a market, which is super nice inside, but it has bars on it, but it's a great little market. They don't see what historic downtown Oroville looks like because there's nothing to connect it. So I can tell you what I don't want to see. Nobody's said this yet tonight, and I'll just throw this out there. I don't want to see low-income housing there. I don't want to see another Dollar General. I don't want to see any of those low market businesses. We have a need for those. I patronize them. But we have enough of them, and that's not what's going to lure people off of the highway. I really would like to see a hotel, restaurants, shops, something unique, but also something that expresses the architectural flavor of downtown Oroville, something that is going to be like a segue and make people say, hey, I really like what I'm seeing. I want to see more. Make them go down Montgomery Street. Make them look to see what else we have to offer here. So that's my 2 cents. I hope that we make responsible decisions. I know we're exploring how did we get here, but we need to move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
Up next, we have Bill Spear.
I can remember for a long time seeing beautiful designs for Orville and the Gateway project. And I remember the last one before this one. And, you know, Orville's growing. Developers are looking at Orville. And we need to not waste this opportunity. We need to do whatever you guys can do to make it attractive. You see Ore Dam growing. It's growing this way already, but this is a prime area, and so you guys need to get together and figure out how you can take out all the stop signs to get people fighting over it. The economy is changing, and Chico's built out. They can't keep developing Chico. They're looking for Orville. Orville has so much potential, and but the city council has got to figure out how to put the green light on, and then we can pick. We can't say, okay, well, we want this or this. This ain't China, but we can make it available and desirable that it's ready, and it is ready. It's you know, right at the park. I remember watching the park and the process, and then the housing developments, and it's a long process, and you could get it caught up in the mud and lose the opportunity. And get it prepared. I think that the time is essential to put it on the top of your agenda to figure out how to get it, all of the red tape or whatever it's got it tied up, whatever it is that's slowing it down, to make it available. Then developers will say, hey, this is prime and ready, and we get the city wants it, and the people want it, and then we can got more say in what comes in, because you know, people are competing over it, and I think that it can be, and I don't think it has to be 5 years away. I think that if you guys will put your heads together, get some council, come up with a plan to get this a green light, so that this will change our whole city. This will change our whole downtown that's been barely surviving. It will get people in. It will connect the trail to the gateway to all the way along the river. People don't even know about it. It's vitally important for our city, for you guys to figure out how to get this from being stuck in the mud. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. I'm not quite sure if I stated the name into the record earlier for the electronic comment. That was Mike Phelps. And then in addition, we did have 2 submitted letters, so I will just state the name for the record. One from Jeff McClure, and then one from the Gateway Project Vision Group. Those have been placed on your dais, again, for your consumption, and I will go ahead and upload these to the public comment packet after the meeting.
Right. Thank you. Do we have any more comment cards?
We do not.
No? Okay. Council, any questions or comments? Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Weber.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry.
Mayor.
I wasn't looking at the screen.
And this is how a city lets its voices be heard. This is bar none probably my favorite meeting that I've been in so far, just to see all of you guys coming in with and lend your voice to what you would like to see, because ultimately it is not we up here and not the purview of just one, but it's the scope of work that needs to be heard by all of you, right? You know, this is an incredibly important project, and it needs to be thoughtfully and deliberately designed and executed in a way that's going to be beneficial for not only this generation, but for generations to come, and have the potential to usher in that very growth that we're talking about, that very next level advancement of our community. we've heard many different opinions on this, but, we stand at the edge, we're on the precipice of some great growth. We've got a great forward momentum with a bunch of really proactive individuals in this community that are working toward economic development and what that looks like for us to grow and prosper and thrive and develop and all those wonderful things that we see other communities doing and we want to see this community doing because we've seen it elsewhere. Now it's our turn. Highway 70, ingress, egress, right? We got way in and way out, right? Bill Spears' comment about the Chico being built out, that's true. And we have land and lots of land available. We want to see market rate housing be developed here. We want to see family-centric entertainment opportunities. We want to see larger retail opportunities come here. So not only do we have more to offer our people, but we also have, though we could capture those tax dollars. We could capture those property tax dollars. We want to see these things happen in our community, but we have to, this is definitely if you build it, they will come scenario. We have to be extremely thoughtful. I agree. I want to see a comprehensive layout, a comprehensive plan from a developer to come in and say, this is the plan, this is what we want. And to have it, what is there, 13 acres of land there, 12.8, 13 acres, I'm not sure. That's quite a bit of land, and we could do quite a bit of things in there. It doesn't have to be a this or that scenario. It could be a this and that scenario. We could satisfy the needs of so many, and we could do exactly like Marcia was talking about, make it so attractive that people want to pull off the freeway and then entertain a further exploration of this community. Drive down Montgomery, beautiful tree-lined Montgomery Street, and enter into our downtown and potentially spend more revenue dollars here as well. So I'm super, super thankful for the input that you guys have all given. This is an opportunity for us to be very thoughtful. What your guys' reactions right now and what you're suggesting, this is 100% proof that this doesn't need to be pieced together in an unthoughtful manner. Oh, we'll just place this here and hope we get that, or we hope we get this over here. No, that's not the way this needs to be done. The scope of work here needs to be comprehensive. And so that's what we're advocating for. That's what you're advocating for. And I'm glad you came here advocating for that. This project has the potential to thrust Orrville into a new phase of prosperity and growth, and this project deserves a developer who can deliver on your expectations. Okay? That's what this project, and we need to seize this opportunity and run with it. Opportunities like this don't come along all the time. We've got this, to Audrey's point, why is this beautiful piece of land not developed? Well, we just haven't had the right one so far. But if we could get the right one to come in and actually seize the moment, then we could get a project that could radically transform and change the very trajectory of where this city goes. So thank you guys so much for coming. We really appreciate you guys. We appreciate the input, and we're looking forward to see where this goes.
Councilman Johnstone.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off of Council Member Weber. We do appreciate your input. We want to see the biggest, best gateway project that we can come together as a community and create. It needs to be something that is going to pull people off of the freeway, but it needs to be something that we as citizens can be proud of as well, right? That's going to draw people not only there, but to our downtown area and just put Orrville into the 21st century, right? We want to be bigger than Chico. We want to be, bigger than Sacramento. That we need to dream big. So again, I personally appreciate everyone coming and giving their information, and I'm going to definitely be thinking and considering what our next steps are going to be as far as development goes. So thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you.
Councilman Goodson's in the queue.
So as everyone was talking, and I was just reminiscing of places that I've gone, and I'm from Sacramento, so I understand your comments, John. And just in my travels, things that have made me want to exit off the freeway, and I call it, I get stuck. Because it's like, whoa, what was that? Make a U-turn. So I do want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your thoughts on this project. We hear you. What I heard, my takeaway, you want hotels, a sport complex for the youth, you want high-end restaurants, and you want a Nordstrom's. And
Wait a minute.
that's what I heard. And we have this location is just amazing. We've got the river, we got the freeway access. And so this project, and we keep hearing year after year, potential. We want to see implementation, something that comes into fruition before our kids, pass away, right? So we're committed to working with the community to explore these ideas and get something shovel-ready and create something that's going to be a benefit to all. Thank you.
I'm up next in the queue. First thing I'd like to mention, Brian Ring mentioned the Army Corps of Engineers visit, and I got a chance to be with them for 2 days. And some might worry about that section of the levee as being a problem for development, and it is not. I can tell you that there was a lot of focus on the entire levee, and that section of the levee from Bedrock Park downriver to the bridge is not going to be a problem for development. We have some other issues, but that's completely somewhere else. So I just want to let you know about that, and that's only because I was with the team the whole time, the 15 engineers that went detailed through our levee. So we'll get a very extensive report. The other thing I wanted to mention too is this is now a public document, but there's a letter here just to let you know that there is interest by local folks beyond just the sports complex. But this is from the Gateway Project Vision Group. I'm going to read the letter because you didn't get to see it. Mayor and council members, management staff, we are pleased to inform you of our great interest in envisioning, planning, and developing the Gateway and the expanded Gateway project. Our team is currently steered by community investors, Mr. Wong, Mr. Phelps, and property owners, Barbara Marks, John Nolan, and daughter Sarah Nolan. The project team is a joint venture between Urbanist Place maker Mike Trollinger and RGA Russell Galloway Associates, principals Don Russell and Matt Galloway. We have performed an extensive initial study on the 5 key aspects of the Gateway program design and examined the feasibility and financing needs for the project. We have invested several months into the project, and we are requesting the city create a formal review and selection process for awarding the project. We'd love to share our vision of the Gateway project with the city, fellow Orovilleans, and property owners, as well as our commitment in creating the Gateway project as a true water's edge district that captures our history, natural beauty, and outstanding outdoor recreation for Orovilleans and visitors. Sincerely, the Gateway Project Vision Group. That's a letter we received. I just want to make sure the public that is here saw that letter and the content of that letter. Councilman Weber.
Yeah, thank you for reading that, Mr. Mayor. And then I have a question, if you don't mind. Mr. Wong, do you mind if I ask you a question? Yeah, please.
Come on up to the
Thank you very
podium
much.
so we get it recorded.
When was this letter written and presented?
I believe that letter was presented in 2022. I don't remember the exact dates because the person leading the project was Mike Trollinger, and I don't see him here today, so.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
I also noticed John Nolan's on there as well. Oh, you expressed an interest in seeing that project be developed in a very thoughtful way as well. Okay. Thank you for being here, by the way. Yeah, I was just curious about the timeline. So, because this would demonstrate that there was obviously other parties interested in putting their hat in to develop the property.
Yeah, so the reason why we got interested in the property was Mike had spent quite a bit of time envisioning like the vision for the Gateway project. So he presented, that like vision to the locals, and those are also signers of the letter that we sent into the city. So that included myself, Mike Phelps, John, and as well as RGA, both Don Russell and Matt Galloway. So they liked the vision that was presented, and we thought the vision also matched the goals of what the city was trying to achieve. So that's why we supported them.
Did anybody ever respond to this letter from you?
I didn't keep track of all the correspondence because that was mainly between Mike and the city, so I have no idea.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just want to commend everyone to engage in the process and really to ignite the fires in the kids. You know, I was on the school board. One of the things that always distressed me was the kids having no vision for a future in our city. And that's a problem. And I think just having this conversation is beneficial. There's a lot of history. If you go on the city's website and you were to look up project plans for the SBF, there's already comprehensive right here for the Gateway project, already drawn. The city actually, with the SBF funds, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in developing all kinds of amazing projects, many of which the desire and hope was expressed by the kids. Already, and a whole generation has literally passed. And I just think that, you know, whenever you feel a rumbling, that means something's coming. And it's our responsibility to direct that energy. So I just want to say that we hear, we understand, and respect, and that we are, as a community, in this together. But and I do want to encourage all of you to go back, look at the dreams and the visions of the fathers and the mothers that really, you know, we're standing on their shoulders, right? And so we're bringing the next level, the next generation of development for our community. But they did cast some amazing ideas, amazing vision. That's already, you know, kind of in the works. And now it's our responsibility and the next generation, Sarah, to implement those things. And we do have an amazing community. I moved here on purpose. I could have lived anywhere in the country, but I chose Orville because I think this is a beautiful and amazing place with so much potential. And so as much as that I and my colleagues can facilitate that potential, you know, we're in it for the long haul. But again, I just appreciate each and every one of you. I encourage you to look at some of the vision casting that's happened, hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. And I know that Mayor Pittman participated in some of this as well. And so I think just in terms of the bigger picture, the vision casting, the excitement for our community, that's good energy, that's good stuff. And so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilman Reynolds is in the queue.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Question was asked when the letter was presented. I can answer that. It was presented after the current owner, Mark Mendez, had put in over a year's worth of work and paid all the fees and cleared the title of all the property. And that's when the letter showed up, because the property became very attractive. I have respect for all these business people. They're good people, but that's when the letter showed up. The property was not attractive in the beginning because there was a lot of red tape. There was a lot of work and money that needed to be spent. So that's when it showed up.
Hey, Councilman Goodson's next question.
I didn't want to say this while the youth were here, but I'm going to say it now. I work with the youth in juvenile hall. I see them on a daily basis. And when I hear the stories of these minors and why they're in there, see, I don't just work with the ones that it's a revolving door because it's past curfew or, you know, shoplifting. The ones that I work with have been in there for 2+ years. And so when you get down to the root cause, and when you have those one-on-one conversations, why did you do it? Whether it's a solo act or gang-related, boredom. There's nothing to do in Oroville. And you hear it time and time again. And so my advocacy for the Gateway project, I would like to see something where we can keep our kids off the streets.
And in the queue is Councilman Weber.
Yes. I have a question for the attorney. When were you made aware of this letter?
So I was made aware of that letter after the transaction had occurred, after the council approved the assignment over to Mark Mendez. I don't have a specific recollection as to when, as to when that letter came in. But the first time I saw it, it was after that had happened. That doesn't, again, I don't know when it was provided. I was not one of the addressees on it, so it wasn't sent to my email. I've searched my email, nowhere in my email. And so I really can't tell you exactly when I was. Had I known about it before that, you would have been made aware of it.
Okay.
Because my job is to give you all of the options.
Yeah, because I would like to look into this a little further. Because from what I understand, the letter was written and submitted somewhere in April. Okay, and I think there's actually a timeline in the form of a email thread concerning this.
I would welcome seeing it if someone's got it, and
Yeah.
again, I can engage our IT person, Tyson, to do a search of emails for it to see if we can turn something up. Happy to do that.
Yeah, I would love to see that because from what I understand, there was absolutely a interest in this property that was being demonstrated by these individuals prior to the sale of the property, which would indicate that, there was more than one party interested.
Sure.
So I would love to run that down,
I'll see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Thompson's in the queue.
Thank you. Just briefly on the idea of, sports complex, I love what these kids say in regards to that. I'm not sure if the Gateway Project location is the best for that, but as a church, we're definitely looking into the idea of building a gym on our property because there's so many kids that just need someplace. I know my kids, when they did ball in elementary, we were traveling to play locally. We were traveling outside of Orville constantly for
Chico.
basketball games.
Yeah.
And so anyway, on a side note, I would love to, we're on the momentum right now we're going to clear some land and who knows, maybe we'll have a gym that's big enough for some of these tournaments, but I'm on board with the gym. Somewhere.
Something for our kids, yeah, I like it all.
Yeah.
And Nordstrom's.
Any other council members? I think we certainly have received a good amount of input, and we have absorbed it all. I've kept my own personal notes on everyone's here, and we look forward to moving forward with a project or a number of projects on that property. And we certainly appreciate all your time and effort here tonight, and we appreciate you showing up and giving your concerns, and either written or by visual. We appreciate that very much because it helps us, go down the path of representing you all to the best of our ability. Councilman Goodson's in the queue for a little.
Yes. We've all been waiting to exhale, and many of you before I even arrived here in 2010. And so it is my hope that after this meeting, we should be able to come back and provide some feedback to the community and let you know. I think that would only be fair and appropriate.
Yep. Agreed, and I think Vice Mayor Smith brings up a great point that the SBF did do a large recreational plan for the entire area. So that would be one to bring forward in that process, and the SBF did a lot of work, and I'm glad you reminded us that helps with the whole overall project plan idea. Thank you all for received input. Staff, you ready to go with this one? Okay. All right, thank you all. Good job, everyone. Thank you. Next item is number 7, new contract term with the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, CAL FIRE, for the future fire protection services. Oh, we'll give everybody a moment to depart. You know what, let's take a 5-minute break for everyone to, yep, we're on a 5-minute break, so good idea. Yes, we're ready. Thank you. Appreciate the time, everyone, for the break. We've had a good meeting so far tonight, and we're looking good. Next item is number 7, the new contract term for the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, CAL FIRE for future fire protection services. Mr. Ring, do you
I'll
have
kick
it?
this off. Yeah, so back, the city for many, many years had its own fire department, but however, just short of 3 years ago, the city determined to contract out for personnel fire services with CAL FIRE, and that contract expires the end of this June 30th, 2025. Myself and Chief Tens presented a number of, frankly, a lot of information back in November of 24, just on the type of services, the history of both operations, and the costs. And obviously the costs, there was a lot of assumptions built in there because we have not had our own fire department for 3 years. So we had to bake what the cost would potentially look like based on being competitive with other fire departments in this region. At that meeting, staff were directed to bring back a 3, 4, and 5-year term with CAL FIRE to look at the costs and ultimately to make a decision on how we want to proceed going forward with CAL FIRE. And the chief here has the actual document
Thank you.
received, and it's in the staff report as well, what the costs are looking like for a 3, 4, or 5-year agreement. And these costs do include the transition from 72 to 66, thank you. That work week, so it includes the 3 new additional staff that are now staffed here within the city. And this also does include the heavy equipment mechanic, which we're still using, and ultimately we'll revisit that, I believe, and hopefully in the near future, once we move into the new corp yard and we're able to build up our mechanic team.
Have this in a PowerPoint?
But we could pull it up on email. I'm sorry, it is small. That's how it was sent to me.
Thank you.
Do you by chance have that?
And ultimately, I did include the PowerPoint from back in November in case there was any questions or if anyone wanted to revisit any of that information. But
So the packets that I handed out is the first one I handed out was the actual costs through the contract, and that will show you fiscal year 22-23. So you have the contract cost and then the actual cost and then the savings, excuse me, and so on up to 24-25, which we're in the middle of going through wrapping this fiscal year up. So those are some estimated numbers you'll see. It's estimated expenditures of 4.7 and 700,000 roughly estimated numbers, 700,000 savings this year, and that is due to the benefit rate buy down and the standard savings that we strive for in the contract as well. And then also below that fiscal year 24-25, we've generated approximately 140,000 through ABH agreements, and that's renting our apparatus city-owned equipment to the state or sending it out and deploying it to a state incident as well.
I have a question on that.
Yeah, me too.
When we, thank you for all your time and all the service you do for our community, by the way. When we do rent that stuff out, with the cost for rental, I'm just assuming, and I'm almost would assume the answer is yes, but in that rental cost, there is funds being put aside for replacement costs, is that?
We've discussed that, but we haven't. So typically it does roll over into the next fiscal year into one-time money. This is how the city's previously handled that. But we have had discussions about creating a engine replacement fund and reallocating those funds. But we do typically get our hands on it at some capacity through the budget request. And I always let Brian know when I submit the budget request, a plan on how we're going to fund it. If I'm asking for, $200,000 to replace a bunch of radios or something, the money might not exactly come from that pot, but we are able to recoup some of that and reinvest it in our folks at the station.
That's great, because for example, when you, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that when you charge the city or government, when you're a government employee or different entities, they pay you back per mile. For right now, I think from my memory, it's like 75 cents per mile is
Federal rate.
something like that. But as we know, that doesn't equate out to what gas costs.
Yeah.
Because they factor in their engine wear, tires, car, and so there's kind of a replacement cost that's built back into that. So I'm just assuming that same type of mentality is in, equipment, radios, engine, because as we know, our new ladder truck and engines, $1 million, 1.5, these are expensive items, including all the other stuff.
Yeah, with the stuff hopefully to purchase here pretty soon is almost 4.4 million total with the new engine that council approved 2 years
Right.
ago. Yeah, they're expensive for sure.
Right.
Yeah, there's an hourly rate reimbursement.
So I guess, for clarity for my own purposes, so with the rental rate out, whether it's out of state or whatnot, that's the same type of mentality or fee structure, correct, to put it in there for replacement costs, not just the use specifically for that time period, correct? Or should we revisit what we're charging for rental?
No, it's a pretty established rate and it's a fair amount.
Okay.
It's a continuous clock. So if we work a 24-hour shift and then we get 24 off, the equipment is still generating revenue.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
And it's close to a little less than a couple $100 an hour typically for like a Type 1 engine or
Yeah,
something like
because
that.
like you said, there's a lot of money that we have out there that we've invested in.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you.
Councilman Goodson's in the queue.
I'm trying to figure out okay. I'm trying to figure out how to craft this. And I used to work in Paradise and I had a Mercedes. It was too expensive, so I ended up buying a Prius. And it made money for me because I had to travel to see my clients. So you probably answered this for Councilman Thompson, but I'm just not clear. So 0.75 cents per mile, and it's not just the gas we're looking at, but the wear and tear. So here's my question. Are we making money? Are we breaking even? Or are we in the negative due to wear and tear?
Are you talking about with loaning equipment, renting equipment like that?
Absolutely,
No,
yeah.
the city absolutely makes money on that. Yeah, we've brought in I remember about 3 years ago, we generated over $500,000. That's probably in like 2018, where our equipment, we had multiple pieces of equipment out for a long time.
But at the same time, each year, in order to operate under CAL FIRE, the budget is increasing by how much? So are we breaking even? What is it?
With
Because
the wear and
CAL
tear on
FIRE
the,
is increasing every year.
I would say
Yes, ma'am.
it's a totally separate and independent, I mean, is there a rate schedule we can share with the council? Because I know it is pretty, whether it's a drone or an engine, sometimes we rent out space at the airport for the helicopters to land. I mean, I know there's established, but I guess the reimbursement is, certainly it's one of the benefits that I think jurisdictions have if they have resources that they're available to rent out. But I think your question is, so the contract as it's established goes up approximately 4% a year, correct, Chief?
the cost, yes.
And the idea behind that is ultimately the 4% in a perfect world is going to cover us because we are, again, in this model, and again, we kind of went over the pros and cons of each, or the differences in a city-ran fire department versus a contract. With a contract one, you're at the whims a little bit of how the state bargains with their
Right,
labor agreement.
we
So
are.
by budgeting that 4% in there in a perfect world, it's going to cover that. Some years we're going to come out ahead, like
Okay.
certainly this year. I mean, this
We
is
have
this is
every
unprecedented.
year we have.
But it's gonna vary year to year as far as what the actual costs are. Because again, these are, correct me if I'm wrong, this is budgeted at top step.
Yes.
Fully
Yeah.
staffed. And we know throughout the years, there's gonna be ebbs and flows. And some years we're gonna
Right.
come out ahead and some years we're gonna come out like it looks like this year where we're in really good shape.
Good
Yes,
shape.
so the 700,000 part of that is salary savings for the mechanics position, about 300,000, roughly, a little less than 300,000. we haven't been able to fill it.
Mhm.
So when mechanics do work on our stuff, they're paid overtime and we pay it out of the Orville contract. But going back to the rental stuff, that's part of an incident when I'm talking about. But when we put CAL FIRE guys on city equipment, those are Orville firefighters running, city calls like that. This bottom number that I put on there, that's generated for responding to like state incidents. We reimburse the city for borrowing their equipment. So it's kind of a little separate than the contract itself.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for this. I knew we'd get a.
Vice Mayor
get to
Smith
it.
has a good
Thank you.
question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah. So before us right now are, well, 4 decisions, if you want to say no. But, so we're dealing with 3 different resolutions, one asking for a 3-year agreement, right? A 4 or a 5. So I'm sure that you and Mr. Ring and others within the city staff have had an opportunity to really fully digest and mull this over. So in your opinion, if we're in examining these 3 different, I mean, essentially what's the difference other than time? And then which one would you think makes the most sense for the city of those 3?
So really, it's a policy decision for council. You're not going to get a break for signing. There's no discount for signing for 5 years or 2 years. So it's the same cost. And you'll notice in next fiscal year, we know what that cost is based off the MOU. So there's no 4%, there's no COLA built into that. So that's what we're anticipating the contract cost to cost. But after that, there's a 4% because negotiations, and there's a bunch of other changes that could happen. So we built a little bit of a 4% buffer zone in there. And hopefully, we operate well with under that, and then that would be a savings to the city.
Right. Other than there is a projection that the state might even go to a shorter work week for CAL FIRE, right, to 56?
Yes, sir.
And so then if that became a bridge too far, because that's going to change the fiscal cost. It would not.
No.
It would not.
No, the 66 will pick that up.
So
that the 66 just allows the state to give time to hire, 3,000 more employees at a slower rate.
But because our 18 firefighters doesn't change that equation to cover, then that's why it would not cost
It
more.
went from 18 to 21 last fiscal year.
Okay.
With the 66 hour
With the
work.
increase, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
And so that won't change that equation. So I get it. Okay, I fully understand that. So if that eventuality manifests, then really the 3 versus 5, there's not going to be a change in that. That's good.
It's a level, it's a commitment.
Sure.
to CAL
So
FIRE,
then if we went to 5 years, then we just simply don't have to go through this process for 2 more additional years.
Yes, sir.
And then the time that it takes for CAL FIRE to prepare a contract and staff time. So there is indirectly a savings by going the longer duration. So there's an upside, in other words. When you count staff time, your time, contract time, this conversation, it does kick it out 2 more years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Johnstone, is that in the queue?
Thanks, Chief. Hey, question for you. Do you know of any potential upcoming changes in the CAL FIRE's benefit rate structure that could materially affect the contract costs, like moving past 2026 and beyond?
There's nothing that we can anticipate at this time. We get the rate letter in January, which we've already got for this year. And then outside of that, it's, negotiations with the firefighters and pay. And
Nothing that you can predict. Okay.
No.
Okay.
There's going to be changes for sure, just being transparent, but I don't know, are they going to be cuts at the state level, which would benefit the city, potentially if there was, hopefully there's not, but, there's a lot of different things that could change that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what performance metrics or service level benchmarks that we can put in there that would, help us ensure accountability
Down the road.
down the road, so, okay, thank you.
Yeah, my quick comment is I see now the numbers which we just got on Friday. At the end of this, it goes all the way from 6.3,488 to 7,427. I realize that's the top contract number, but it's also the number we have to work with in order to fund the rest of our services. So we have to leave that dollar amount alone. So at $7,427,418, that pretty much wipes out the Measure U account. And we'll have to lay off police officers. That's the way I look at this, and I don't want to do that. And here I'm a former fire guy talking about it. I mean, you should normally worry about it.
Are
but-
you saying because those two entities would be competing with those funds?
Well, sure. I mean, we have to
No,
pay this bill.
I know the answer.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, with these new numbers and all that, I would like to suggest a couple things, maybe take some time to absorb these numbers, because I don't want to be stuck here where I'm going to vote for this and then lay off police officer positions, because I see that happening. Plus, we have the potential of Station 2 being put together. So if the council does go anywhere, I wouldn't go any more beyond the, what's the first one, the 3-year
The 3-year.
proposal?
The 3-year.
Just because we have some unknowns that might come about with potentially staffing a new station. And of course, that'll have some discussions about, personnel costs and so on and so forth. That's just that number. The other thing that I would like to see is an analysis of what it would be a difference. I've done some rough numbers myself, but I think it would be great to have staff do a real thorough analysis on this number, because personally, I see some potential savings if we were to return the contract back to the city. And I'd just like to see the staff verify these numbers to make sure that they're even close to accurate. Plus, there's a couple questions I have that came from the Pacific Palisades project. I've noticed the insurance companies are getting very interested in our fire hydrant maintenance program because of the situation they've had down there. In my time, we used to inspect the fire hydrants once a year and make sure they work. Do we have any, and then had hydrant cards and inventory and those kind of things. Do we have any follow-up on that since the contract?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. So I've met with, Lonnie's been great with Cal Water. She's a fantastic partner. So we're meeting with all three purveyors the next week or two, and get us all in the room and firm up an MOU, because there's some confusion on what we're allowed to do and allocating city funds to support their infrastructure. And I think we get in the same room and we can hash that out and form an MOU and really understand what they would allow us to go out and do. Going out, cracking the pipes, open them up, greasing them, painting them and stuff like that, there's a pretty significant cost associated, and Cal Water's done great with reimbursing us with some of that. But man hours, and recently we've, at my direction, we've shifted towards business inspections, and we've hammered out 50 or not, if not more, over the last couple months. So the guys are, they're running 27 calls a day. They're doing business inspections in between. They're testing hose, and we are going to shift back towards that. But I need to truly understand what they want us to do. We've had issues in the past where we've opened the systems up and it's caused damage, and then Cal Water or one of the other purveyors ends up receiving a bunch of complaints. So I just want to firm up with them and really get a good understanding and get in front of council, get an MOU in place, and then we can re-engage in that.
Well, I appreciate that. Also, we have a number of private fire hydrant systems in the city, the cogeneration plant, the Sierra Pacific, and all those, and we probably need the same plan for those private fire hydrant systems too, that they're still supplied by the water company, but the property owners own the hydrants. So I'm just looking at that because I noticed the insurance companies are looking at that. 50% of our fire rating is based upon water supply, and because of the situation they had down there, it's caused a new concern. Just like the response to our weed abatement program, they're looking at that too, and appreciate the fact they're working and went through on consent tonight.
Yeah.
I would add at that point, if we could have maybe a brochure in the future that is our weed abatement program, that number one goes to our residents, but number two would be something available to the insurance companies to understand that we are serious about weed abatement. We are serious about fuel reduction, those kind of things.
Absolutely.
The last question I had was, back in the day, we used to have extra staffing of engines because we have an inventory of engines that are available whenever we have a high fire hazard day in town and a high wind coming and whatnot. We used to staff up additional engines in the station. Do we still do that, or where's the status of that operation?
We can. but we, now within the cooperative agreement, we can look at it from, multiple different jurisdictions. We may not need to staff up the city and maybe save some money and staff it up on the state side or something like that. But now the city has 22 fire engines roughly around surrounding the
Right.
community. So, and we can shift resources around now. If we needed to bring some more in the valley, we can. If we needed to move them up, we could do that as well. So it's just kind of a different tactic, same mindset, but just kind of shifting resources that are there.
Yeah, I look forward to like our newest engine, the little light attack, have it patrolling around.
Yep.
Would be a wonderful thing to have, especially during the high wind day, so.
Yep. And if I may too, with some of this cost, just going back to it, the cooperative aspect to it, I think it's important for council to really understand, what you're getting with that. You're getting training, you're getting PIO, you're getting, state-of-the-art command center. And you're always gonna have a fire engine. So if both city engines are busy, we're gonna move an engine down to cover the city of Oroville automatically. If both engines are busy and there's another fire, there's multiple incidents in the city, you have the workforce behind you now with the patch that's side by side with the city of Oroville. But the training mechanism too, that's the cooperative aspect that isn't necessarily covered in the cost, but, the training bureau, the firefighters now are receiving top-notch training. Not that they didn't before, but there's a whole bureau of training folks in there that are focused on making sure that our firefighters, city firefighters, are current and up to date. So I just want to point out that there's a lot of resources behind the patch. It is a little pricey, and we get that, but the amount of resources and the workforce you're getting behind it is unimaginable.
The other cost, and one of the reasons I want to look at a cost analysis is we've had to pick up other expenses that the fire department used to incur. And then one of them is the fire marshal. And the fire marshal, we're now paying around $100,000, I understand, a year for a part-time fire marshal. We dumped off on weed abatement about $60,000 worth of weed abatement to code enforcement. And then we've had to bring back a administrative assistant to help the department with their records and whatnot. So I just like to combine all those costs together so we actually see what we're really paying for, because those costs were included in the previous Oroville Fire City budget and not spread out to other departments as it is being now. So I would like to see a cost analysis of that brought back together so we really see what truly was costing us for this fire service. Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, going back to the genesis of deciding to go with CAL FIRE as a partner, cost, of course we have to consider the cost, but in all things considered, because of that, the depth and, as you were mentioning, the training and all of the additional resources that being part of a larger organization potentially brings to the city, that for this one council, I'm speaking for myself, I felt that was worth the cost. And then also the idea of the way that CAL FIRE dispatches, which is closest in. So that means literally at times minutes of time saved getting to an incident, a fire or somebody that needs medical. So the calculation for me, if it was my son, my daughter, my house on fire, what's that worth? And if CAL FIRE can demonstrate quicker response times, better training, not because the guys are better, but just because there's a larger depth there to pull from, then that's worth the extra cost. I mean, at some point, if the cost is too much, then I guess we have to have that conversation. So I think it's prudent, as the mayor suggests, to have a look-see. But I don't anticipate that equation changing enough to change my mind as to what we need to continue moving forward with that relationship that I think is positive and quality, and it, as I've already stated, offers all of those things to the city and more. But at the same time, we have to be fiscally prudent. We have to, do our homework and sharpen our pencil. So I'm not opposed to that. But I just wanted to point out how we got to where we are today with that relationship, and why I think, again, for myself, why I came to that conclusion. And the idea that, you're still part of Oroville. For an example, you just worked on our weed abatement ordinance, the changes. And so you're still very much a part, you're invested. And so just because you wear a CAL FIRE patch doesn't mean you're not invested in the community. I know that was some of the concern, but the real results on the ground are, no, you're very much up in the fabric, deep in the fabric of Oroville, which I really appreciate. And I just want to say thank you for all you guys do and the service that you render to our community. I think it's stellar, and you're greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I did want to touch on the point that you made about responding and getting resources to scenes earlier, faster response times. But to add on to that, our command center does offer EMD dispatching. So if you're to call 911 in the city and it goes to our command center, our dispatchers there can provide they can render medical aid over the phone and talk people through those emergencies, where in the past it hadn't done that. It would have to be transferred over to first responder and ambulance provider.
Okay, any other questions? Oh, Councilman Reynolds?
Yeah, I'm happy to see these numbers, and I'm happy to see the savings for the city, and I'm really happy to see the enhancement in coverage and protection, because the city was getting too big for the amount of firefighters that we had, and we have 300 firefighters to choose from for overtime shifts and things like that. I really, really appreciate your service and the savings, and something that we have when we didn't have when we first started entertaining this was we have actuals. There's actual savings. We had projections, but now we have actuals. And I really appreciate the good job that you do, Chief. And I appreciate all of the service from the firefighters. What we did when this first came out in 2019 was we kicked the can down the road, and we asked for studies, and we asked to look at this and check that, and it ended up being 4 years down the road. There was 2 of them years that the governor offered $2 million discounts if we would have signed in those years, and we didn't. So we lost millions of dollars in savings by not going with the proposal that was clearly going to save us money. And so I'm ready to vote to move forward with CAL FIRE and / Oroville firefighters. It's people don't understand. They've been told one thing, that's closing down the Oroville Fire Department. We never did. It's a labor agreement. It's just a labor agreement. It's not taking anyone's identity. So I really appreciate you and everything you do, and your firefighters. Thank you.
Sir, we appreciate it.
Councilman Goodson's in the queue.
Are we ready for a motion?
I'd like to speak real quick before your motion, if you may. One of the things that I've always stated is that a probationary firefighter at Oroville City Fire had 18 months of direct knowledge of this community in every building and every facility, and we're tested on that fact. So we have lost that. And that, to me, is something, as a firefighter, you could never gain without being boots on the ground and walking your streets. The way this configuration is now, we have people that have never seen this city, and we're called in to work overtime. And just because they're a CAL FIRE firefighter doesn't mean they're an Oroville City firefighter. So I take issue with the fact that Oroville City was anywhere behind the curve by any means. And as far as a $2 million grant, I'd like to see that in paper, because I never heard of such a thing as a discount. That doesn't happen in the world of the state of California. So my issue is we need to have people that are very familiar with this community in great detail. And we have many complex fire protection systems in this city, like the cannery, how their pump system works. The Sierra Pacific has a pump station and a well and their own fire hydrants and all these things. I don't know that our people know anything about that. And that's because the fire protection system is very complicated in every city. And I think that we're doing an injustice if we don't look at at least the numbers that we're looking at and the true cost of what we're paying. That's my comment. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir. I don't really want to get in back and forth here. We went through all this. We beat this to death to ad nauseum a few years ago. But the reality of it is we had, I think we had 14 firefighters, and 2 or 3 of them were actually from Oroville, and the other ones drove in to work, and one of them moved here from another town. So it wasn't like anybody grew up here and knew every building and back staircase or. And we're in the 21st century here. We have GPS, we have a system that, and my question, I'll just keep it simple. Is our response time better?
Yeah, absolutely, and we continue to work on it.
Thank you.
Every day. I would say primarily because of that overlapping call. So when we have overlapping calls, the resource is automatic. There's not the back and forth. As far as, responding from the fire station to High Street, the response times are, probably the same. But there's no gap in service anymore at all. There's no asking for help. It's automatic.
Right. Thank you.
Councilman Goodson's up.
Yes, I move that we have a cost analysis, and there's nothing wrong with that, and adopt the resolution, number 9375, directing staff to bring a 3-year contract to the council.
Second. Any questions on the vote?
No.
Call the roll, please.
I have a question, if I may.
Yeah.
So, cost analysis in a 3-year. Can I show you what we did back in November? I want to make sure I understand what you want me to do, or staff to do. Just really briefly. Oh, I'm sorry. Finish this. So.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Councilmember Goodson's motion passes with 6 yeses and 1 no.
Okay.
So what I did back in November was what we tried to do is we looked at actuals for the last 3 years of OFD, and those were presented there. And then what we did is we tried to predict what, if we were still OFD, what we would predict as far as compensation goes. And if you want to go to the slide right before this. This shows where we were at in 21, 22 as far as the hourly the rates. And then what we did is we kind of compared them to Chico Fire, because we figured that's who we're going to be competing with for staff.
Okay.
So then, as you can see, just looking at that, we were about 55% off. So then what we did is we immediately did a pretty significant jump, and forgive me because it's been about 6 months, so I don't remember all the details, but what we did is I think we gave about a 45% increase off the 21, 22 numbers to get us some figures. Now, if you want to go back to the other slide, thank you. And that's, so we tried to project how, if we were OFD, that's the blue. I'm sorry, is that the blue?
Red.
So versus the contract with CAL FIRE. And so you can see, based on estimates for the 4th and 5th 2 columns there, where you got it to blue and red, and I'm sorry, the numbers are they're relatively close. And again, a lot of assumptions built in there. Just trying to do the best we can to, if we were in this different world, what would it look like?
Okay.
And then for the final year, obviously that was a lot of estimates in there, but even with that, it looked like the CAL FIRE was about $500,000 more than estimate. Now that we know that these figures, we can we can certainly update that last one.
Okay.
And so if I'm understanding, do you want me to then take this out 3 years with these numbers to see what it would look like? With similar assumptions, we can look at bargaining agreements with Chico Fire that they have in place. I think they have 2 more years on theirs, at least when I last looked at 5% a year, I believe. But we could do that and just to see how it looks
Sure.
like. Okay, so we'll do that.
Thank you.
You have a question? I'm sorry, Chief.
No, I don't want you to lose your train of thought, but I'll touch on when you're done.
Okay, so there was that, and then I wanted to get timing from you as far as so I'm hearing to bring back a 3-year resolution. Okay, so we'll do that. So obviously, we don't have any sort of a issue with continuation of service and all that. So that's why I just want to make sure.
Right.
So 3-year resolution, or 3-year contract, I apologize. You dropped to the 3-year resolution, 3-year contract, but you wanted this pushed out 3 more years.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to point out too that the 24-25, the CAL FIRE funding is probably about exactly identical to the projected number. But what's really important with that is we're not talking, that's with 2 engines. It's only 2 fire engines.
Okay.
Can't fill an alarm with 2 fire engines, so you're asking for help automatically.
Right.
You're even with that right now, you're filling an alarm and you have unlimited resources. That's important to remember that, once your 2 engines are used, you're begging for help from the county. So in the
Vice Mayor
cooperative
Smith?
agreement, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, and just one other observation, I think we're kind of done with this for the moment, but the other thing that led me to going with CAL FIRE, I think it's important to point out, that when we're a standalone station with, I think 18, that I remember during COVID, there were some, and COVID was challenging for all of us, right? But there was staffing level issues, and not to say that something like, God forbid, would happen again, or there's a flu that's going around and you have multiple firefighters out. The advantage, again, would be you can backfill. Where we're when we're a smaller city with a limited number of human resources, right? Then that's limited. But with CAL FIRE, the depth again is much greater. So again, and that was I just wanted to share that because that was another part of that equation that helped me make that decision. When it came to being able to fully staff the firehouse. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
I do want to add though, to just, speaking as, the past fire chief for Orville and this, the liaison fire chief now, the assistant chief, that those numbers for the city are extremely low. I mean, I'm sure you remember about 4 years ago, I came together with a growth plan for the city. And I said, you need more fire stations, you need more firefighters, you need more fire engines on the street. You're getting that in the cooperative. So that is for, a few firefighters and a couple engines. That's not going to protect your city, unfortunately.
Councilman Johnstone's up.
Real quick, so, that budget or whatever that we had up there, is that including, you were saying that, Orville Fire has also generated approximately 140,000, right, in revenue? So does those figures have any type of this generated revenue incorporated into? No, right?
No, it's actual cost.
Okay.
Or projected cost.
Right.
Projected cost, but.
Thank you.
Okay, we're all done?
Yes.
We got the work to go? Next item on
thank
the
you.
agenda. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Public hearings, none tonight? Public communication, hearing of non-agenda. Do we have any more cards that came up?
I have had no additional cards submitted, Mr. Mayor.
All right. And future agenda items from the council? Go ahead, Weber.
Yep, thank you. After listening to Janice White come back several times and present and be persistent and show that she's putting in effort, I think I would like to ask this council if we can entertain a conversation about coming alongside them in some way to help them, maybe, I don't know, match dollars with their fundraising efforts or something. It's not a whole lot of money, but I think she has proven through her persistence and dedication, that she's really trying to do a difference. So I would just like to raise that as a future agenda item, perhaps.
Do we know what's in that community development fund? That would be good to know.
Well, and there's also another
Ryan.
opportunity that'll be coming up with the supplemental benefits fund.
I was thinking the same
They
thing.
could make an application of that. The state has okayed an authorization of a new month, 200,000 now
200,000.
annually, so that may be a possible location, because we have funded the water well.
I just adore
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the SBF would be a process for that to happen.
You
yeah.
beat me to it. I was going to suggest the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
Scott beat us to
yeah,
it.
but if you didn't know we had the money, we got the money now, finally.
Good.
It was just me.
200, they awarded us 200,000.
Right.
As opposed to the regular 100,000.
Yeah, but it
next
expired,
50
actually it
years.
expired. And now we got a new one. Correspondence is included in the packet. Anyone have any questions about correspondence? All right, seeing none more, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
Mr. Mayor?
Orville City Council.
Mr. Mayo?
Ooh, praise.
Mr. Mayor, one quick,
Oh, yeah.
quick
Sure.
question. So there was, We have spent, in the community enhancement budget, let's see, 10,000, 11, about 12,500, and that does not include anything if there is any request for fireworks support this year. So about 12,500 this year. In the airport, Green Bridge, and then we did a number of other, there was a number of dinners, lion dancers.
So what's left in that budget?
About 12,500.
Okay.
It's about half gone.
I'll think of something.
All right.
Real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Do we still have
Kind of hard for me to talk about that.
Yeah. I think the SBF's the best place for me.
There's more to,
Okay.
there's more to know.
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
The next meeting will be held June 30th, 2025 at 4 PM. Thank you all. We are adjourned.
Thank you.